And all right, we are now recording. So welcome coaches and AS staff. So right here, this amazing group of folks are the amazing folks who are going to be putting on, supporting our athletes and giving them such a wild and crazy adventure and experience and top and foremost, amazing competition experience that we can provide for them. And there's a lot of work that goes into it on the front end or where we are currently right now. And there's a lot more coming at us. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a moment and just have an introduction of sorts to our AS staff and our coaches. Right now, what we've started to do is, you've seen some emails from me come through. We have assigned AS staff to particular teams and coaches. And we've done this because gone are the days that I can follow up on 190 people with 190 different documents and 190 different things, and 190 keeps coming out of my mouth because that is the size of our delegation, and that is an amazing group. And this support system that we are going to be doing starts now. So we have as things come at us, and I say come at us meaning there are unanticipated pieces of information that will be sent to us that we have to get filled out and put into SO Connect, which is the registration system, or they will be sending out surveys for particular sports, or they will be sending out maybe another team assessment, or all of those different things that are going to go from now all the way till June, possibly July, as we do some of the after and the feedback pieces as well. So creating the support system allows us to have a little piece of it, right? So I'm looking at Steve Fuller right here, and Steve's going to be supporting our basketball team. So he sees me send out an email to all the coaches, and maybe the next day he follows up with Brian and just says, hey, Brian, did you see that email? Is there anything I can do for you? Do you need help collecting any of the COVID cards, which we're right in the middle of, or did you make sure that all of your families are in the know about, what Alexis just sent out? There's a lot of information coming. And so this is just our way of having some support built in that the AS team can get to know you guys and then also support you along it. Specifically, just to speak real quick to the COVID piece, all the individual sports, meaning everybody except for the team sports, have been asked to send a copy of their COVID card to Parker. Parker is our intern who's working here in the headquarters office for the next few months, and she's going to be helping us save these and download these onto the SO Connect system. Coaches of the teams, the 4 teams that we have going, they have been already collecting the information and registrations, and so we're going to stay in that same pattern. So Mr. Steve Marshall, our softball coach, and Mr. Joe Stewart, our soccer coach, they're going to stay with their consistency of reaching out to the athletes and families themselves and then sending those into Parker. Now, if Steve needs some help or if Joe needs some help, their support staff is Sims, and they can reach out to Sims, just be like, hey, you know what, I maybe need a little bit more support on this. What can we do to get together, have a discussion about it, see how Sims can support. This is the type of dialogue that we want to start to create within Team New York and really kind of build it from now until then. So I am going to start a PowerPoint. Kyle is going to be doing our chat. So if anything pops up in chat, I'm not ignoring it. We're going to save them to the end, and we're going to address questions at the end. So if you do have questions, pop them in there, and Kyle's going to keep on touch. Last time I did do a PowerPoint on here, I could not see anything except for the PowerPoint. So if someone's waving at me or doing anything, I don't know why, but you disappeared to me. So hopefully Kyle's going to keep tabs on that. And I'm going to start our sharing here. So just let me, all right, just a second. So, all right. Can you guys see what I see? Great. So what you guys are looking at right here, this is our New York Strong logo. Yes, you will get copies, and yes, there will be branding guidelines, and yes, you need to get approvals of whatever you put them on, and yes to all the above excitement. This is also our pin. So we've already got the pins made because we know manufacturing is like super behind right now. So we got that done and out of the way. This logo is what's going to be used on our apparel and on our uniforms and everything, and not our uniforms, sorry, on our apparel, opening ceremonies, hats, bags, all of that kind of stuff. There are very strict guidelines for with the uniforms, but we're going to cover that stuff another day. But I just wanted to show you guys our New York Strong logo, just to kick it off with a little bit of excitement here. Right here, this is our list of AS staff supports and the different sports that they are been assigned to. You should have heard by now from your AS staff support if it wasn't in something that I connected you with. Hopefully they've reached out on their own at least to say, hey, I'm going, this is what's going on. If you have not, they have probably connected with the head coaches, because that was the information I'd given them, just so we'd be able to kind of keep things moving along with the head coaches. So this is the assignment right here. And again, this is just for support. This is as things come up. I would love to be able to outline to you what exactly is going to be coming, but sometimes we don't know. I do know that we're going to have an additional medical forum, and we will have and that's a get to know you forum for our nurses. We'll have a sizing sheet that's going to be going out either this week or next week for all of the uniforms that we have to start collecting sizing for. So these are the people that you guys need to get to know in regards to making those connections. And I will be sending out full contact sheets for everybody, because we have had some updates since the last time we talked. Okay, so we are going to just jump right into it, because there is a lot of information. The PowerPoint that we're looking at was 266 pages of what they covered while we were in Florida. Don't worry, I've pared it down to about 60. So I'm not going to read every slide. Yes, I will send this out afterwards for you guys. And we're going to be able to create a shared document folder where I can hopefully be able to load the entirety of the other one. If not, we will break up the other one by sport, because there's a lot of good information. The structure that they are putting together for these games is like no other that I've seen. And it's wonderful. So some of this is showing you examples of what's to come. I also want you to get a full appreciation of just how immense this is, and just to kind of just get excited about it again. You all by now have explored the coach's dashboard. This is your prime source for rules. This is your prime source for anything about your sport. In addition to the coach dashboards, you're going to find your webinars. So there have been webinars already for the different sports that are happening. The webinars are provided so you can learn a little bit about the venue on site. You can hear personally from the technical delegates and the competition directors and the venue people right on site. If the links to the recordings are not yet on the coaches portal, they will be loaded, I've been assured, because I know a couple of them aren't on there yet, but I've been assured that they're going to be. So leading up to it, there's going to be coaches meeting and webinars. And then on site, there will be coaches meetings. So this is where we're going to work with AS staff to make sure that everyone's properly ratioed. And I say ratioed as because it is extremely important. If a coach shows up with 6 people, no matter how high functioning or what the circumstance is, if the coach shows up with 6 people at Healthy Athletes or somewhere else to go through a credential check, they might not be allowed in. It needs to be the 4-to-1 ratio at all times. So again, this is where our AS staff are really going to step up and make sure that we're properly ratioed throughout. So coaches meeting will be a necessity throughout the week. When will those be? Good question. Those are yet to come. So we've got a lot of good stuff yet to come still, but they'll come as needed. All right, moving along. All right, sports rules. I'm sure all of you have gone in and looked at this. If you haven't, please do make sure that you understand where we are. There was a lot of consideration taken into account of whether or not new rules had been released, and then the opportunity to learn those new rules were maybe not there for some of the sports because of where we were within the pandemic and lack of training and so forth. So those have been taken into consideration. So please make sure you go in and you understand which sport rules are being used for this event. competition schedule. So these will get tighter as we get along. Registrations are not yet final, meaning I have not pressed the submit button yet. Nobody has pressed the submit button, any program, because at this point we are still inputting information such as the COVID forms. Once that button is pressed after March 15th, then they'll be able to really accumulate everybody who's in what events. They'll be able to look at a much stronger event schedule. But for now, this is the general schedule, general sports, Monday through Friday, starting at 8 a.m. Saturdays are reserving for any inclement weather that happens during the week that they can make up competition or events on that Saturday. And then obviously, like I just said, we're going to be having more information come. One thing to note, coaches and athletes should plan to arrive 1 hour prior to competition. They are very big on not rushing the athletes. You will learn this a little bit more as we start to dissect the overall schedule. They are very cognizant of not having us arrive back to our sleeping arrangements at midnight and having to get up at 6 a.m. They want to build in rest. So you get to your competition area, you check in that you're there, and then you're able to do maybe some performance stations or drink some water, do some stretches, get yourself into the mindset of your sport and not really rushing from area to area. Awards details. Now we don't have to go through all of this, but I want you to see this structure right here is the arena. And inside the arena, these drops are being done where it's going to be quadrant off, and then awards will be done here. This system that they have is actually quite intricate. There'll be the setup here. But in addition to that, let me just skip ahead there. There's going to be staging areas. And so then they're going to have television screens that you can look up and say, now staging for, it might say 50 meter or whatnot. So you can actually see what's going to be coming up. And athletes and coaches, you guys should check in 30 minutes prior to your award area for check-in. Athletes will go in one area, coaches will go into another, and then when they're done, they're brought back around to be able to come back to the coaches. There will be opportunity for pictures and a fan viewing area for, say, the families that come in that want to be able to see this as well. Awards are also going to be notified on the app. So you'll get a notification on the app saying awards for the 50 meter are going to be going off at 1 p.m. Please arrive at 12:30. So all of these reminders and notifications are currently built into the app structure that they're building. Speaking of the app, this app is very informative. If you have not already downloaded the app, please do so. This app will become your best friend. There was a reason why we asked on the coach's application, do you have a smartphone? And this is why. We knew that this event was going to be very technology driven. Gone are the days of handing out a piece of paper at night at 11 o'clock to know what your schedule is the next day. That's the great news. Everything is going to be updated on the app. There are many different avenues of the app. So as coaches, you can be able to see the events. As athletes, they can see the events. As myself, as HOD, I could pop in there. Don't forget to wear your blue shirts to opening ceremonies. And this information could be relayed through the app. It's going to be very great when it comes to knowing your schedule, where you need to go. It could actually help you navigate around. We don't need to navigate around because we are actually going to be using all of the buses. But say family members did want to, they could actually do this as well. Another fun part, and this is just an example here, so you can send cheers. So each athlete that we have an email address for is going to have their own profile. So just like a Facebook page. So say Haley here has just gotten gold, we can just go on and just give a cheers, do a yay, do a, all of these different things. It has a little bit of information about the athlete in terms of the events that they're in. And again, we can get as specific as don't forget to wear your blue bathing suit, for your event the next day. I'm not going to say I'm going to do that, but I'm saying if we could, if we wanted to, we might be able to be to that level. We'll see how we get. Credentials. I can't stress enough, and anybody who's been to these events knows that you can't get in anywhere without them. This is even more important because this this QR code right here is extremely important because this will be scanned when you go into certain areas. If you don't have your credential, it's not just a, oh, I forgot it and he's with the team, we'll just let him in. There could be some issues with this. So credentials, making sure we have them, making sure that if you misplace one, you alert me, and then you can go get another one. You can get replacements on site. Obviously, we don't want to have to do that, but again, just credentials are extremely important. And coaches, I'm already thinking of ways for you guys to help keep these gathered together during competition. Thinking some sling bags. You just put all the credentials inside the sling bags. One coach is in charge of making sure that we always have the sling bag. It's full of them. Right after competition, after everybody's stretched and hydrated, put the credentials back on and then go on to the next thing. So extremely important, and already thinking gears moving on how to make sure that we're keeping squared away with that. This is just another example. Through Healthy Athletes, they'll be using their credentials as well. So you can go in and track and on the to-do list for the app is to be able to track through the app as well as the different disciplines that they've gone through. So again, you can see just how, I'll say intense, but how planned out and deliberate thinking that they've been with just the small details of this, so you can possibly understand the big details of it. All right, talk a little bit about accommodations. We will be staying at Disney All-Star, either in the music venue or the sports venue. They are right next to each other. When I went down, we stayed at the music venue. We walked through the sport venue. It's basically just as if the same thing. There's no one that's better than the other. We have this entire resort. There are no other people staying in either resort. So it's just these two and all of the Special Olympics USA folks. You'll note right here, this entrance. Nobody can get past this entrance without a credential saying that they are supposed to be staying in here. So absolutely no family members can come through the gate. There's no visitation from your family members past the gate. It is very strict. They are purposely creating a bubble. And this is for a couple different reasons. The experience of the athletes and coaches alike, and then also with COVID. And it's funny because halfway through the HOD conference is when they announced that everybody has to be mandated for vaccinated and COVID cards will be collected. So they've already started talking about limited family time. They've said from the beginning, you can have family time, but it's going to be limited. We've been saying from the very beginning, you'll have family time, but it will be limited. And I must remark to you guys as well, that goes for you guys as well in regards to that. There will be times built in for family, and I'll get to that in a moment. Very similar to other years, myself and Kyle and Sarah as the HOD team are going to go down a day or two early. We'll be able to collect the keys. The keys will have the names written on them. We're going to try to get everything organized before you guys get there. So when you arrive, we'll have the softball team keys together and the tennis keys together and so forth. We have handed over the rooming assignments, but not the floor plan assignments. So I'll just gonna get that by the end of March, we should be able to see our actual room assignments and see if we need to do any switcheroos. So I'll be reaching back out at that point. Food and beverage. Very detailed. They're going to tell us where to eat, when to eat. Everything is based off of the sport and your schedule. So it's not as if we're all going to be coming together as Team New York to go eat dinner. Everybody will be following their own schedule at that point. And they have many locations scattered throughout. Going through it, it looked like it was going to be pretty easy to get around and to get to. Couple different things to note. There's a couple different food venues. They're dividing up the athletes and coaches again by sport, so they know how many people are in there for food proximity. Keep in mind there's 6,000 people who may be attending this event. It's one of the largest ones. Door greeters will verify badges. If you have one person out of the team who's forgotten his badge, you're going to have to go back and get it. So make sure, again, credential. And the eating is not unlimited as it was in previous games. So forget what we did in Jersey and in Seattle, where we just ate as many Rice Krispie treats as possible. What I did at least. But that wasn't the case. So it is limited. It's very healthy diet. They're really watching all of these things for us. So it's all taken care of. This area right here is called Celebrity Hall. This is the athlete village. There's going to be some eating areas here. And if you picture the two resorts, the celebrity village is right in the middle of the two resorts. Everything's within walking distance when you're on the All-Star property. It's really nice. Laundry. We all love laundry. So some exciting news. They will be doing laundry for uniforms. So each athlete and coach is going to be given a laundry loop, which is a loop that has, we can write their name on it. You put it through the arms, you secure the loop, you put the loops into a big laundry bag. We bring those over to the Celebrity Hall. They do the laundry. The next day we can pick it up at 4 p.m. So we have to be pretty diligent when we're talking about laundry, going and picking up. Again, coaches, you guys are going to be in charge of making sure that the team laundry is done. AS staff, you guys are going to be making sure that the coaches can get their laundry done and we can get pickup and drop offs. So that is free to us. We don't have to pay for that laundry. They are asking for just uniforms to be done that way. Every athlete will be getting 2 sets of uniforms. So if one's being washed one day, you can pick that up the next day, drop the other one off and so forth. So we can kind of create a pattern. And they're recommending extra socks. They must have said that like 100 times. So like socks get lost in your own home, they're bound to get lost in here. So there are on-site laundry facilities. The look like a laundry facility when we saw them, but there are quite a number of them. And then one thing to note, they're all free. Everything will be free. The detergent will be provided for us. We don't need to bring detergent. And we don't need to bring quarters or credit cards to be able to do the laundry. You could walk in at like 3 o'clock in the morning if you're bored and go wash everyone's socks if you wish to. Luggage tags. This is extremely important. So we will be creating a travel system for the entire delegation. This is coaches, athletes, AS, nurses, everybody who is going. Will have a certain amount of bags that they can bring. We are telling people at this point to limit their suitcase to about 35 to 40 pounds when they go, because we will be receiving so much stuff back. New York will have a luggage tag to it, but we will also have a luggage tag from the USA Games folks. Everyone gets 3 of them in advance. They're going to be mailed to us. We're going to put them on the night of the party onto the bags. They cannot be given to family members. These bags identify the sport and the delegation and the person, right? Obviously. The cool part about this is that once we get to the airport at Albany, we hand over the bags and we won't see the bags again until we get to our rooms. When we get to the airport in Florida, we're not having to look for the bags. We don't need to find the bags. They are picked up for us, brought to All-Star, and then placed in our rooms for us, which is a cool system. Yes, we might not see our bags right away. Yes, there's 6,000 people, so we need to put our in our understanding hats and know that whatever we need the most needs to stay in our carry-on. But we've been assured that they will get there by the end of the night. So that's why those tags are so important. It's make sure to make, when you're checking everybody's luggage, to make sure they all have the right color bags, bag tag, and so forth. Because if you give this tag to anyone else, say a family member, that bag will end up in that athlete's room. So we need to make sure that that's fully understood. Sport equipment. So there's been a lot of talk about sport equipment. How do we get it down there? What is going to be shippable? What is not? So right now, golf clubs. So Joel and Martha, Joel are AS staff and Martha, our head coach for golf. You guys are going to work together and we are going to get ship sticks. So it's a company that will send the box straight to the athlete's house. They pack up their golf clubs. There's an address on it. They send it off. The golf clubs get there. And the next time they see their golf clubs will be on the golf cart the morning that they get to the course. So there's no rigmarole, having to go on with anything like that. Triathlon bikes, same system. We're going to work with the boxing company. We're going to get it shipped directly there to another bike shop. They take it apart, they put it together, they get it competition ready. Bowling balls will travel with the athletes. So this will be one of those additional bag tags. And we will figure out a little bit more of this as we go through it. Surfboards, we really don't need to worry about those. But already there's discussions in addition to this, just about softball, right? So softball was going to be able to have the bats and the helmets and all those things. How are we getting them there? So they're already looking into like helping us figure out a way to ship those down. So just because it's not on here doesn't mean it's not currently in discussion or talked about. And if you have a specific question with it, please make sure to bring it up to me. Transportation. There was about 18 slides. I'm saving you all for just doing a few. I want you to just understand the massive infrastructure that they have built to do this. These people are no joke. We got to experience this. We were treated just like we would be treated if we were at the event. When I went down for the HOD, we were on a particular bus. We had a bus captain that greeted us. The bus captain was able to tell us a little bit about what was going on. It will be a mass movement of bodies. Again, your understanding hats and patience. Yes, we will be sitting in a bus. Yes. Are we going to be comfortable? Yes, because they're air conditioned. But we do have to have the flexibility and patience to be understanding when it comes to moving this many people at once. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that the busing and what they have put together, this is Disney. This is Disney logistics. These people know logistics like no other people. I'm jealous of the jobs that they not. I love my job, but the logistics behind what they get to do are just absolutely amazing. And what they put together for us is really quite very impressive. We've seen nothing like this in any of the other events. Opening ceremonies, just a quick thing. This was planned so the athletes would have the afternoon to relax before their competition start the next day. So we'll be getting into the loading zones of the buses as early as 6:30 in the morning. They'll have a grab and go breakfast. They will be school buses. They will be air conditioned, and then we'll be brought over to the stadium where they're going to be doing some meet and greets. We're going to walk, do a parade route down the street. The amount of security beyond this is quite impressive as well, right into the stadium itself. The stadium is a sporting stadium and has a no bag or clear bag only rule. So as we have done in previous opening ceremonies, there will most likely be no bags allowed except for the nurse's bag, and she'll have a clear bag. This will help us prevent leaving things behind. And then also just being able to follow the rules of the stadium. So that a little bit more information to that is to come. And that goes for coaches AS, all of us as well. This is a bit of the seating plan, just to give you a little bit of excitement of how they are lining this up. On-site support. So there is on-site support for the HODs. We'll be doing an HOD meeting every day. Some days are optional, meaning it might be just about a specific sport. If your sport's not being covered, you don't have to go. These are extremely informational. After these meetings, then we will have our end of the day coaches meeting. So the head coaches from every sport will meet with me. I'll relay any information regarding the next day. We'll talk about the schedules. We'll talk about AS staff supporting, and what that will look like. Delegations of services center. So this is if an athlete loses a credential, you may go over here. I could run over there. Any of our AS staff can go over there. And this area is right in between, again, the two resort properties that are right there. Family program. I'm not going to go into this too much because I know Alexis has been sending out good information, and this is just a bit of a repeat to it. But I just wanted you guys to know that if the families ask, there is a family check-in area, which they've been communicated this information to as well. And then in addition to the family check-in area, on site throughout the whole week, there's a family services area. So the family services will be able to answer any questions that they have. If a credential is lost from a family member, they can go there, and it's completely separate from our delegation service area. The fun. Athlete Village. So at the end of every night, there will be an Athlete Village area going on all day, all night. We're told that even in the intermingling of the two resorts of where housing is, there's going to be fun things, just little pop-up fun things from time to time. So this will be running from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. There's going to be DJs, there's going to be games, there's going to be pictures, just like an Olympic Village, like on steroids between the two resorts. This is just another look at the actual Athlete Village itself and one of the eating areas that they have. Fan Zone. So Fan Zone is a fun activity area that is going to be at Wide World of Sports. This is going to be stationed here the entire time. So if you are, say, bowling and you don't have a event that day and the AS staff want to be able to go to, take you around to have some fun and go to Healthy Athletes, this is where you guys can go to have a little bit of fun that's offsite. There's also a number of sports happening here, so you guys can catch some fun, do Healthy Athletes, go watch some softball, go see some soccer, depending on what the events are. Athlete lounges. Athlete lounges are set up at each one of the areas for just that. It's just an area for them to just decompress after an event or get ready for an event. And then each venue also has a sensory room or a EMS area, which I'll get to in a second. This is just a quick synopsis. Again, I'm going to send this stuff to you, so I don't feel like you need to write everything down. But they are making sure that we are doing a fun event every night, but you'll see we're not particularly overloaded with a whole bunch of things at night for us to go to and then have very early mornings. And again, that's very deliberate. They really wanted to make sure that the athletes had fun with this, but they were also able to rest, get good healthy meals, and then be able to have great competitions and be ready for those competitions. And then just a little bit more about the Athlete Village with the DJs and all that fun. Closing ceremonies will be on the 11th. There's no parade of athletes, but it's just basically one big dance party, and it's just going to be a good time. Disney. So we've heard a lot about the Disney ticket. Each delegation member, every single person will get a day at Disney. Now, it is not up to us when we use that ticket. It will be reserved and given to us by sport. So they are looking at the overall event schedule. And what they'll do is when they're looking at the event schedule, they can see who's going to have a free day or a lighter day or not an early morning. And that is when each sport will be assigned their day at Disney. This ticket is not for families to come and take their athletes to go to the park. This is for the athletes to be with their teams, to like if we've got multiple teams going, trying to, we don't have to stay together in all the rides, but enjoy that time as Team New York, as your team, as your individual teams, and as your individual sports with the coaches and with the AS staff. So again, this is not for the families to come and take them and do this with. This is for the teams to stay together. Medical. I'm not gonna read this to you. I just wanted to show you this. Like, they're so in depth on everything they're doing. This right here is actually our medical team. So this is really neat. We haven't seen this before, where they're actually counting our medical team that we have for Team New York as part of the USA Games medical team. So they're getting the same information that the EMS staff are getting. They're getting the same contacts that they would need and built in. And this is so this is the EMS plan for the stadium. It's zoned out, which is like in the end. I mean, I think they had that covered, right? So EMS is going to be everywhere. Medical will be everywhere. They actually have a particular app that they are asking for our nurses or medical staff that we're bringing with us to download that will have athlete information on there. This is still in the works. This is still a dashboard that's being developed. So we'll have more information on that as we go through. Basic safety. Obviously, we all know Florida. They could not say it enough to every morning as everyone's getting ready, build it as part of the getting ready process of shower, put on sunscreen, then get dressed. Shower, put on sunscreen, then get dressed. Because wanting to make sure that nobody's getting burned, staying out of the sun. We are being very purposeful with our clothing that we're selecting to make sure that it's going to be coverage. As hot as it would be nice to have sleeveless, but we don't need a bunch of burned shoulders. So we're not going to go that route, but we're getting breathable, moisture wicking, swag. Everything we do is going to be very purposeful. SPF hats to be able to have those. That is actually a must during closing ceremonies, because even though the stadium is covered, it's only partially covered. And they will be having areas at every single venue for cooling. They're going to have tents and so forth. Rain. I've been assured it will rain every day. So we are, again, purposely ordering rain jackets for everybody that can just fold up real quick, put it, hang it off your bag or put it in your backpack. So we'll have ponchos for everybody for those quick rains where you just put it on if they're, reusable, but if you need to, we can provide more. And then also just seeking shelter. This one I was not ready for when they brought this up. Alligators and snakes and bugs and spiders. They talked about this one at length for a while as well. And I think if we stay away from water, we should be fine. But even at the tennis area, they actually had signs that said alligators, beware. So we were very aware, but this is serious. We do need to make sure that we give this information to the athletes when they're there on site, and just making sure that we're using our bug spray and everything else. So security. Okay, so credentialing, we've talked about that. We're going to have resort activated security kiosks. So at any turn when you look, there's a security person. They are going to have people that you can see that are obvious in security. And then they're having a lot of non-uniformed, just everyday looking people walking around that are also security. Access to the hotel rooms. This is an exterior facing door area. So it is not when you walk out your hotel room, you're walking into a corridor. These go directly outside. So there is high security at the hotels at night. So that was refreshing to hear that they're also having security, but then we'll also have to come up with plans specific to, each coach. You guys are gonna have to relay that information to the athletes that you don't leave your room until we're here or so forth. So we do need to build some sort of thing on that, and that's not quite there yet on it. Hotel pools. The hotel pools will be open. Recreational swimming is not something that is typical for what we do. It is not within the policy of Special Olympics. However, these games have made it a point to make sure not just to have lifeguards on duty, but lifeguards that are familiar with people with disabilities. They're all being specially trained. The pools will be open. But they are not to be used. Like if you're done with your event and you have an opportunity to go watch basketball in their championship game, you're not going to the pool. Pools are only going to be used when there's nothing else to do, like healthy athletes or watch one of our other teams participate. It's for the end of the day, when we have time and when the schedules permit. Again, coaches, you guys are going to be in charge of your schedules, working with me on that, and we'll talk about when is a good time to use a pool and when is not the good time to use a pool. So don't automatically build this into your day. This is a nice little extra that we can be able to use. but they will be monitored 24/7. So if anybody gets a little crafty and figures they just want to go out 3 o'clock in the morning and sneak out and use the pool, they will get caught. All right, accountability, signing out. So there's been a lot of questions from family members of when can I see my athlete? When can I take them to dinner? When can I be able to spend some time with them at the parks? And the easy answer is the park time will be on Thursday during the family event at Animal Kingdom. And any other time during that week is very limited. If not, it might not be at all. And I think our families need to understand this. We've been saying it from the beginning, but just having that sense of understanding. This is nice that it's at Disney. It's nice that they're coming down. We have an amazing turnout. I think we have like over 100 and some family members that are coming to this. So
154.
How much is it?
154.
154 family members are joining us. So we want them to have like Team New York Mom and, like these t-shirts. We want them to do that. But we have been warned that it will be very limited during the week, especially with this COVID bubble that they're trying to create. Leaving Team New York, going out to dinner, doing that, and then coming back into it is also going to be a challenge because of how it's structured with the gate and the guards. I don't want to sound like a wet blanket when I'm talking about this, but I want us to really just understand that it will not be a come pick them up every night to take them out to dinner, just sign this piece of paper and you can go. There have been instances in the past that made it very easy for us to do this in past games, but that will not be the case during this game. So I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. We all understand that. And that during that family night, that Thursday night, that's our best opportunity to be able to spend time with them. There will be sign out forms and Alexis will be the one getting those out, collecting those, myself, Kyle, Sarah, it will take a village for that piece, but there will be expectations of a sign out form and then they have to sign back into our care. If anybody wants to leave after and go with their family members and stay for an extended vacation after the delegation is returning to New York, that is absolutely fine. We can release them into the parents' care, but we cannot do so until after closing ceremony. All right. Healthy athletes. So again, the structure that they're building for this is quite great. So it's going to be at the HP Fieldhouse. This is right at the Wide World of Sports. Where all the other activity and a lot of the sports are going to be. The way they did this. So you can use your app. You can pick a time that's going to be good. So say basketball doesn't have anything in the morning. You guys can go onto the app and you can make an appointment for healthy athletes and then you'll receive a notification when your time is going to be. And then you go right into healthy athletes. And from there, you can figure out the timing of how long it will take to get through each discipline. They have done such analytics behind this that they took it from a 9-hour time period of what it was, I think, in New Jersey to a possible 3-hour time period to get through all of these, systematically working with these analytics of what they've come up with for the app. So it's pretty impressive of what they've done. And again, the sports schedule. So this is just an example. They're going to block it off. They can see what sports have free times at what times. And they're going to suggest like, hey, I see on Tuesday, you guys don't have anything in the afternoon. This would be a great time for healthy athletes. Swing on by. Every athlete is going to be able, and there's back and forth about partners, but I believe partners are also going to be able to go through healthy athletes. And every athlete will receive a passport. And once you fill out, I think it's 5 of the pieces, then they will be able to be in a drawing to win the Brooks USA Games shoes. I have been told that everybody, including I'll say maybe for all of us, right? And just be bonus, will walk away with a pair of shoes. It might not be these shoes, but they are doing a shoe giveaway on site. So again, this is where we get into please only bring 35 to 40 pounds in your suitcase when you come, because it will be full by the time you leave. All right. Thank you. So the reason why, again, I wanted to do this for us was to be able to really look at all of the different fun things that are happening. But I also wanted to give you guys just an overview of just how detailed this event is, how technology driven this event is, from the app being able to tell you when to go to Healthy Athletes, to the coaches, you guys learning your event times on the app regarding the next day. So if you are self-proclaimed not tech savvy, that is okay, because we have people on our team here who can teach you how to be tech savvy. And if everyone has a smartphone, we can all get there together. So, and the AS staff, they are all tech savvy, or will be if they're not, and we will be able to support you through this. So your AS staff, so Caitlin is supporting gymnastics, and she might be like, hey, David, hey, Marlene, I see tomorrow, your schedule just changed on the event thing. Are you guys ready? It looks like the boys are going first and the girls are in the afternoon. Like, what kind of system can we set up on this? Your A staff are going to be able to help keep you clued in on your schedules while you're there, and get you prepared for it while we're on that road. So there was a bit of a lot just tossed at you guys, but that's okay, because there's no test afterwards. But we will, I will be able to send out this PowerPoint to you. And again, like I said, we're going to create a online sharing program for files, and the full entirety will be on there. And then we're also going to come up with some very sports specific ones as they come out. So learn your coaches portal. AS staff, when I send this out, you'll have full direct access to the coaches portal as well from here. So get on, learn your sport rules to be able to best support your coaches. All right, so I do see.
There's a few questions in the chat.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, see, we've got some.
Yeah,
all right.
I can kind of sum it up for you, Stace. So just some questions that we haven't addressed yet. Can golf coaches bring their clubs with them from
Good question.
coach?
I'm not 100% sure on that. So let me check. And actually, yeah, I will do this.
All right. We've got another one here from Ellen. And I think I understand what she's asking about, Ellen. If I don't get it quite right, just go ahead and unmute yourself. She wants to know if the city COVID cards were already uploaded, can they be sent over for USA Games? So I think essentially they probably have submitted their COVID cards to the Long Island office. So we could probably go through them to get some of the COVID cards for Long Island athletes. Is that pretty much summing up, Ellen? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when we reach out to Long Island athletes, we can always copy the staff on that and be able to get that COVID card that way, maybe make it a little easier. Okay.
Yeah, that email did go out to the family members as well. So the family members could be sending them in. So if we start to, so the goal would be like right after winter games, we run a report and we say, okay, these are the ones that have come in so far, and these are the ones that haven't. Then we can take it from there and reach out to you guys. And if we could reach out to the regional folks to grab it from them, we will absolutely do that. So yeah.
Okay, a couple more. Will families be required to show vaccination cards when attending events?
That is still being worked out. So families and volunteers are still being worked out within the USA Games. Delegate, the head leadership, the GOC of that is still working that out. Yep.
Okay, cool. And how about, do we have any plans for how everyone will be getting to Albany yet?
Well, the plan is to get them on buses and get them to Albany. Past that, I haven't gotten there yet. So I keep saying after winter games, I'll be able to, and then ... So yeah, no, that's definitely on the to-do list. The way that we've done it in the past, and admittedly, we had a lot less people, was we geographically looked at where the athletes were located. And then we worked with family members and staff to get everybody to one centralized location, whether it was a, minivan, or in this case, definitely a coach bus, couple coach buses picking up along the region, and then bringing everybody into Albany. So that will be done and covered by us. So just not quite there yet. But the goal was to get everybody definitely into Albany by 3. We've got at least a good 2 hours ahead of us of getting check-in done, weighing bags, checking bags, handing out swag, just even before we can just get to the dinner part. That usually it took about 2 hours or so with 80 people. It's going to take longer. So we might have to get people arriving in Albany a little bit earlier, depending on where they are, having Capital come in first. We are going to try to stagger it because everybody arriving at once too. That would be a bit of a task of the people being there to receive everybody and get all the bags taken care of. So we're going to try to stagger it a bit and really work what's going to work best for everybody.
Stacy, can I ask a quick question? Am I allowed to grab my athletes and just bring them there that day? I have a minivan, and then just the 4 that
Yes.
are here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So that's going to be part of it, is working with the coaches and where you guys are located, because you'll be part of that. I call it the scraping up and getting everybody to here. So we'll certainly take advantage of all offers on that front. All right. I see. Do families need to send pictures for registration? Yes, I believe so. Alexis, I think you can. No, they don't. It's not needed
Now,
for their credential.
uploading a photo for your credential is optional.
Oh,
A lot
I
of
see.
people were having issues with it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
Yep. So another question here. Disney announced today that they are not requiring masks for vaccinated guests. Will that affect us?
We are going to follow the Special Olympics protocol. So, say for instance, so here in New York, mask mandates have been lifted in certain areas. We have to go by what the venues are wanting. If the venue does not require masks, Special Olympics does. So we are following all Special Olympics international protocols. Whatever they tell us to do, we follow to the T. When I went down to the HOD conference, I was given an N95. We had to wear it inside, outside. I was walking soccer fields with it, not near anybody. They were reminding us constantly on the buses everywhere. So they're being very cognizant of the fact that I think that as Florida, they've been getting kind of a bad rep with stuff and things. People in certain areas of the country have been a little bit worried about how serious they're going to be taking this, and they're taking it very seriously.
All right, and then kind of similarly to any of the sports equipment, all that should be getting shipped directly down, right? So Doug's bike specifically for get shipped
Yep.
down, right? Okay.
So we'll, like for instance, for bikes, we'll work with local shops to where the athletes are. They'll disassemble the bike, pack the bike in the box. That box will be sent down to the USA Games triathlon folks. They're working with a bike shop there and a whole mechanic company, and that mechanic company will put the bike back together, and then it will be available for them for the first practice, for the first training when they get down there. So we'll never see it in the hotel room. We don't need to carry it around with us. Every venue for the sports, so they have storage on site. So Steve, you guys with the softball bags, even though it might get shipped down there, you still don't need to take it back and forth from the hotel. They'll have storage on site at the venues for you guys to put your equipment bags into, which is really nice. Most sports are saying that come ready to play. That means be in your uniform, show up ready. There are very specific sports, basketball, tennis, a couple other ones that have a court shoe only. So don't wear your outside sneakers, on the court in that regard. So they have locker rooms for the tennis courts. Each athlete will get their own locker that they can leave their bags in and leave their rackets in for the week. So they've really, these facilities are just top notch, and they're really doing whatever they can, again, to make the athletes experience an enjoyable one and let them be the best, like competition wise, that they can. So
Okay, another question relating to masks, specifically on horseback, but this is kind of a general question as well. Is there been any guidance on, while actively participating, if masks will be required?
We'll have to see what they say at that point, but as far, whatever we have to follow for Special Olympics is what we're gonna have to follow when we're down there. So whatever international is putting out.
And then from Steve here, something, is there going to be an opportunity for at the venues for equipment storage, like lock boxes or lockers?
Yeah, so the athletes don't have to take their bowling balls back and forth. They can leave them there. So the facilities are ours. There's no public going in and out of them. Security is extremely high at the venues 24/7. So everything's very covered in that respect.
All
Any
right,
other
that's
questions?
gonna kind of get us through what's in the chat. Just one general thought of my own here. We know that all of your athletes are spread out across the state, and connecting with them might be challenging. We don't have a lot of opportunity to get everyone together in person outside of Albany. But if I'm speaking a little bit for the AS staff here, if we can help you connect with your athletes, we want that to happen. We want you to feel like a unit, especially. So anything you could do beforehand to connect with your teams is going to be really beneficial to that team vibe that we're really hoping to have in New York. So if we can connect you with a link to a Ring Central or help kind of facilitate that with something that we could provide for you, let us know if we can help with that.
Definitely. Perfect. Any other questions right now? All right, who's excited? Good. Well, there is a lot of hard work behind this, and
Except for the alligators.
except for the alligators. I know, right? I was like, wait, is this really a thing? Like, did they put that there? Yeah, stay away from all water unless it's coming from the sky. But no, this is going to be great. The amount of detail again that they're putting into this is wonderful. So after winter games, we're going to come back around when I've gotten a little bit more information. Maybe we'll start dividing up by per sport at that point and give you guys some opportunity to have some by sport or per sport athlete coach AS staff time with a little bit more understanding of your venues and everything else. So those next steps, uniforms are going to be the next steps. So the idea of having your AS staff support is to have somebody to help reach out to the families if we're not hearing back from them, and be able to get those pieces of information. That's all I can think of right now. So other than it's going to be great. And
I just want to say that it sounds wonderful, but you are all wonderful. There's about 5 people on this call that it is part of their job to try to pull this off. That doesn't make it easy, but everybody else, you're all doing this because you want to support our athletes and support Special Olympics New York. So I think you're super cool, and we're going to have a great time.
awesome. All right, guys. Well.